Welcome everyone! Welcome to another review. This is MetalCanyon, and we'll be reviewing Tropico 6 by Limbic Entertainment. Yeah, this is now a new developer in charge of the series, and this is the 6th installment, and I always loved the Tropico series, even though that's a bit silly to say of me, because the only other Tropico I've played was Tropico 3. I don't think I've played Tropico 4, and I definitely haven't played 5. So now that I've seen that Tropico 6 has come out, I had to take a look again, because I had such a good time with 3, and see if this is still as good as it was before. We're greeted by this lovely main menu. Tropico always had some really beautiful graphics for me, in my opinion, and I also really appreciate something over here. Let me reduce this a little bit, even though I love the music. But here, I really appreciate this. Only play stream-safe music, which hopefully means that I will not get flagged on YouTube for using this music. If you turn this off, I suppose it also uses some licensed music. But just like before in the Tropico games, this is brilliant. Let me load this one for the moment. Just like before in the Tropico games, the music is a big part of the experience, if, of course, you like sort of Cuban-ish music, and I certainly really enjoy it. So yeah, you'll be greeted by this lovely soundtrack. Actually, let me decrease the effects volume as well a bit, just so. There we go. So here we go. Here's our lovely Tropico country. Just as usual in the series, you play El Presidente, and you are, well, basically you are a dictator that wants to stay in power for as long as possible, and it's quite a fun experience, because not only is this a city builder, this is the entire view of the archipelago, by the way, and there are many maps available. We'll get into that shortly. And yeah, because it's not just a city builder, it's also heavily sort of invested in politics. And of course, because you are a dictator, you have several ways of managing your country and economy. However you like. You can be an absolute dictator where, you know, the state, the media is state-owned and completely controlled. People have no real freedoms. There's military everywhere. You can be arrested or even killed for pretty much anything if you don't agree with the good El Presidente. Or you can, you know, be a benevolent leader that just tries to actually do good for the people. And you get... You have edicts that mean that people are happy, that they have lots of freedoms. There's actually a constitution here. So right now I have voting rights that all citizens vote, armed forces is only a militia, ecology is energy efficient, separation of powers, well, I have sort of no separation here, because I'm an atheist state, and a happy childhood for the labor policy, also state-controlled media. Because I'm playing a bit differently, my first game I went, you know, completely benevolent, and for the second game I tried something, you know, completely controlled, and now I'm going sort of in between. But it's also up to the missions, because there's lots of missions available, lots of campaign missions, and they all give you a different task to do. So for example, in this one, we have to create a communist utopia. So we have to get on the good side of the Eastern Bloc, even though we have better relations with the Western powers right now. It's probably because of the trade routes I've been doing. You know, but they will give you various tasks of what to do. Right now, I believe they've given me the task of destroying all mansions and houses, which I did, and ranches. There used to be nice houses and mansions here and stuff, but they said everyone needs to be equal. They only can live in, you know, dirty apartments like this. It's actually a lot, well, most of the dialogue, or should I say monologue, in the game, as is usual in Tropico games, is very tongue-in-cheek, slightly political, and really fun to read. I mean, I really do enjoy that. Here's my mostly mining town, by the way. So, before I proceed, just a caveat, I have not played Tropico 4 or 5, and it's more important that I haven't played the 5, because I believe that a lot of stuff that I will be talking about here has been present in Tropico 5. So I will be just mostly concentrating on Tropico 6 right now and my experience with it. And the first major change for me coming from Tropico 4 was that there was no eras. So over here in the top, in the lower left, this save, by the way, is pretty bad. I'm not doing very well here. I'm not getting a lot of money. People are not very happy with me. So yeah, this is mostly a lost cause, which I'll have to do, redo this map. But you know what? I'm happy to do it because the game is fun. So anyway, over here, we're in Cold War at the moment. How do I check that?
Who doesn't love exports? Goods leaving port, money.
I forgot how to do that. Well, we can go to research, actually. So you start at the Colonial Era. I mean, it depends on the mission, but for the very first mission, you start in the Colonial Era. And if you want to play through even when you win a mission, you can continue going into, you know, the other eras, I believe. And that's a really cool thing for me. So you start in the Colonial Era, where, you know, you might still be under the British rule because you're a British colony, and you have to do stuff for the British, and then you have to declare independence and either pay them off or fight them and so on. And then you proceed into the World Wars. So it's World War I and II. They're sort of mashed together, and of course you have to get either on the Axis's good side or on the Allies' good side, or neither. And then you've got the Cold War, and then you've got modern times. Right now we're in the Cold War, so we have obviously the Eastern Bloc, and the Western Bloc, or well, Western powers. And a really cool thing about that is, apart from all the new research that you have, so for example in the Colonial area you only have some edicts and buildings available. Of course you don't have nuclear power plants in the Colonial Era. I do have one. Oh yeah, I destroyed that one because something was going wrong. And you also don't have oil platforms and so on and so forth. And as you proceed into the new eras, you get more and more stuff. New buildings are available, new edicts are available. But also what is really cool is that you get a different view of your city. So for example, these bunkhouses, which are pretty much crappy apartments, stay broadly the same, as does a lot of the buildings, but some of them, like for example the construction office, or the, I don't know, the parking, the bus garage, I believe, I don't know, some of the buildings actually change shape and look, and also the roads change their look. So for example, you start with just dirt roads in the Colonial Era, and instead of trucks, what is that? There's a bush growing there. So instead of trucks, there's people pushing and pulling carts on the roads. It's pretty fun to see. And then you proceed into the Cold War over here. Actually, the World Wars, where, you know, you actually have paved roads. Now they have lines on the road. It's a small detail, but I really enjoy that. It makes you feel, oh look, I'm in the next era now. And of course, like I said, lots of new buildings available. So, building and managing your country, I should probably say country because it's pretty much a country, is just as fun as before. And even more so because now, unlike in Tropico 4, like I said, I haven't played, well, 3, I haven't played 4 and 5. You've got all these trade routes. I don't think that was available in number 3. You've got the Constitution. I don't think that was available in 3. I cannot remember it anyway. Which you can, by the way. The Constitution goes on for 10 years, and then you can rescind it if you wish. So I can change it right now. Right now I have all citizens vote, but I could change that to, I don't know, only wealthy citizens. Or I could change my atheist state to theocracy or freedom of religion or whatever. So it's pretty cool. And of course, some of these do require research, and some of these are also only unlocked in modern times, like this personal rights one with total surveillance. So the game really gives you a lot of options and will not punish you for trying out new stuff. So for example, what if I want a completely state-controlled, no personal rights theocracy, for example? I mean, like I said, there's a lot of politics in the way. Wait a second, not this one. If you've got capitalists, communists, religious, militarists, environmentalists, and industrialists. So quite a lot of different political groups which are vying for, well, influence and control. And right now, of course, I have more communists because this is a communist campaign. And you can see that only 26 capitalists are happy, I guess, and only 84 communists. So we're not doing very well. Actually, is this 84? Is this the standing or the number of people that are happy or content? Actually, I think this is their happiness. Yeah, not the how many there are. Up to 100, I think it goes. So the religious are obviously very upset because we do have an atheist state, which means that all religious buildings become inoperable. In fact, I've destroyed them all because I simply did not have any need of them. But, you know, this is the really cool stuff about Tropico. It allows you to play however you like to play. It's brilliant. And I have to say, like I said, that the game is just as fun as it was before in Tropico 3, which I've spent many hours playing and enjoying. And I must have played about, I don't know, 20 hours of this already. I'm only on mission 3, but I did spend a lot of time on mission 1 because I simply continued playing it after I won it. And I went into modern times and so on. It's just a lot of fun. So, just like with most city building games, you have to take care of your people in some way or another. So you have to provide them with accommodation. And in Tropico, that means building various different buildings according to your people's wealth. So if we hover over someone, it says activity leisure, position inside clinic, age 21, wealth poor, and education high school, workplace unemployed, home bunkhouse. So the wealth is pretty important. So this guy is well off, or this person is well off. These are mostly poor. But of course, because we're in a communist utopia now, it doesn't matter. Everyone needs to be in big blocks. But I do have these apartments here which do require their wealth to be well off. Unfortunately, you cannot really set this like you would want. So for example, if I were to build apartments and set it so anyone can be in there, like even broke people, you can do that via an edict. Where is it? Free housing, there we go. I don't have enough money for that because I'm 22,000 in the minus, but I also haven't researched it. Anyway, free housing allows you to have no rent in any of the buildings, which simply means that anyone, even the broke people, will be able to stay in any building available. But of course, you know, that means you get no income. There you go. We're actually getting more income here than we're using with the budget to keep this building operational. Oh, I don't really care about this right now. So yeah, you have to take care of the people. Like I said, with housing, you have to take care of their jobs, because right now we have 12 unemployed citizens and 0 homeless citizens. Wow, I actually did that. Nice. And you do that by providing various jobs. And of course, the jobs have various requirements. This one requires only uneducated workers. So that means that anyone can work here. Uneducated, or even those that are educated if they cannot find a different work. So Teamsters over here, the Teamsters office is also uneducated, but if we go to something like the weapons factory, this does require a high school minimum. So that means, of course, you have to provide either a high school over here, lots of children in there getting their education. I also have a college over here. Or you can simply hire foreigners for, you know, which you have to pay first to come to Tropico. You also have to take care of people's fun needs, faith needs. Of course, right now, because this is an atheist state, we don't need to do that. We have got hospitals and clinics. There's a clinic over here as well. These are always very, very... Well, I could say popular, but, you know, lots of people always visit both the churches and both the hospitals, so those are very important to have. And the nice thing about Tropico 6, which, well, I don't think that was really present in Tropico 3, or at least I haven't been using it that much, I cannot remember, is the overlays. Wow! Bloody hell, look at the pollution! It's all red. 100. I didn't even notice that these oil rigs could produce that much pollution. Bloody hell. Wow. Okay. That's why it's saying I have a lot of pollution. Oh man, well, this is certainly a communist utopia, I suppose. Wow. Okay, anyway. Then you've got your electricity cover. No electricity here because I don't have any buildings that do require electricity. Then you've got crime safety. Now this is a bit of a problem because, well, usually only these bigger apartments do have some crime around them. You can upgrade them.
To put this, I cannot say we are certainly doomed, but we appear to be trapped in a death spiral of crippling national debt.
It is certainly not your fault, perish the thought. Penultimo is entirely responsible for giving you terrible advice, and I shall never forgive myself. Nonetheless, I have taken the precaution of packing Tropico's gold bullion into the sandbags of the palace hot air balloon. Shall I fire up the burner? Back to main menu, continue playing. Right now we'll continue playing, we don't care about the minus. Where was I? Oh yeah, the overlays. Yeah, you've got crime safety. It's sort of a hit and miss because we do have some crime over here, but the police stations, like, they have a pretty low, if I build, well, I cannot build one now because I don't have the money, but they have a fairly low area of effect, unfortunately. There are some police blimps you can do, but I haven't experimented with those yet. Then you've got your liberty. Of course, liberty is reduced by the presence of soldiers, like in the palace over here, or wow, the barracks. Oh no, these are the tank barracks, I suppose. So they don't decrease the liberty. But yeah, the liberty here is not that great. The liberty is also reduced around here. Listen to this. That's the asylum. No one in there yet, but the communists wanted me to build an asylum. You know, so this is really fun. This is really nice to have, and then a lot of times it does help you quite a bit, especially with fun quality. For example, we've got green buildings here, which means that there's a lot of fun available, like the, I think that's a cabaret or a restaurant. We've got the mausoleum here. We've got this park. We've got a fast food joint, or is that the bar? I can't remember, and so on and so forth. And over here on the other side, it's sort of it's sort of okay, it's average. So if I wanted to increase the quality of the entertainment, I would place some more entertainment buildings around here. So, you know, you have to juggle things. There's also faith quality. It's all red because we do not have any churches. Wow, what's going on here? Why do these guys have faith quality at all? That's interesting. Then you've got healthcare quality, very important. It's very bad here because we don't have any clinics, so that tells you, oh yeah, I need to place some clinics or a hospital there. And it's also pretty bad because of the horrible pollution. You've got food quality. Wow, why is food quality so low? Wow, okay. Interesting. 0. I suppose we don't have enough food then for people. Now that's one of the problems of the game. These overlays are very nice, but a lot of the time they're really not that useful. Which is silly because I've just said how useful they are. But let me explain. This is all nice, okay? But it should be even much more useful. It's nice if you're looking for beauty, for example, for tourist destinations. Like, you know, there's a lot of beauty here with this temple, or where the coconuts are, or how soil has degraded because of your farming. It's also where you can have various livestock, where's the various crop conditions, you know, where the crops will be best to grow, and of course your resources like coal, uranium, gold, oil, and so on and so forth. But if I want to do something specific, I don't know, like a lot of the times I promise people that I will improve the housing, because when it's time for elections, you have an election speech, you can have it, and you can promise, you can acknowledge the problems, you can promise the people to improve something, you can blame superpowers. And for example, if I want to improve the housing quality, that means that I will have to improve here the housing quality overall, and also make sure that there's as few people homeless as possible. Now, homeless people are those that work somewhere or are completely broke and do not have the money for even the most basic accommodation if you do not have free housing, and they will simply...
Citizens are demanding elections, Presidente. It seems that they want a choice in how they are ruled. So selfish.
So I will deliver an amazing speech. So you can acknowledge an issue, and it's very nice because the game gives you numbers. You can immediately see what the issues are. So faith, happiness, for example, even though that's kind of weird because we don't really have, well, faith is not allowed. It's an, it's an atheist state. We've got praise faction, so capitalists because they're so low, which will increase their approval. You can blame the superpowers. Right now, I don't want to blame any superpowers, even though that does increase your standing with the people, generally. And you can promise an improvement, but you cannot make a promise since the people will still remember that you broke the last one. So let's deliver this speech.
My friends, you are the dedicated ones, for whom no hardship is too great. True Tropicans, your tribulations shall be rewarded. With just a little more effort. Your Presidente does not ignore your faith. You need places to pray, to confess your sins, and to nap before Holy Communion. God is everywhere, but it is unwise to worship outside in hurricane season. Our ongoing prosperity is supported by the capitalists, with thanks. We're grateful for the many fulfilling jobs you create for my people, and your progressive attitudes towards taxation. So vote El Presidente for the future that you deserve. All of you. Viva Tropico!
You can also see the gold bars over here, the, I don't know, cigars, I don't know what that is, weapon. Oh, there's weapons, I suppose. You know, a proper dictator. Anyway, I'm going to lose these because I only have a 19% approval rate, and 45% are against me, 35 are undecided. Now, if I did have the money, I could order a martial law, which would suspend voting indefinitely, but then we would have to worry about rebels, you know, the rebel threat and so on. There is also fighting in the game, which is, you know, pretty basic, but it works. So anyway, like I said, let's say that I've promised people better housing. So, for example, the first thing that is the problem is that the targets seem to be really, really high up. So let's say my housing quality average would be 36 right now, overall. And the game would want me to get it to 56 or something, or 54. It seems a little, but it's really difficult. I have not once yet managed to get housing quality up enough. And I did pretty much everything. I wanted to make sure that people are not homeless. I build better stuff. I put the budget on all the apartment buildings, on every building, up to the highest possible. And it still wasn't enough. So that's my first complaint. It's very difficult, it seems, for me anyway, to get housing quality and a lot of the other stuff as well, up to the point that they want. And of course, you have a limited amount of time for that. It's also fun. I mean, entertainment quality and such is also difficult to get up, even though it shouldn't be. But anyway, the other problem of the overlays is that if you want to get the housing quality up, you say, okay, let me see. I've got, let's say that there's like 50 homeless citizens here. Okay, let's click on that. Yes, we have lots of homeless citizens, right? Blah, blah, blah. And then you say, okay, where are they? Well, there's residential occupancy. Let's see that. So the red buildings are the ones that have pretty much no one living in there. So there's, you know, they're almost not required there. But the problem is, it doesn't really tell you where the homeless people are. So if you have lots of homeless people, but you don't really understand where they are, tough luck. And, you know, those shacks that they built are one by one. Let me actually see if we can find that guy. There's 2 homeless broke people. Homeless.
Please excuse me.
Okay, so where do you... Oh, he's completely homeless. Okay, he doesn't live even in a shack. So I cannot show you that.
So stressed.
Yeah, homeless.
So good to see you.
So even if they do live in shacks, they will say homeless. And those shacks, like I said, are 1 by 1 square large. And they're pretty cool otherwise. But when you're trying to stop people being homeless, it's a difficult thing to do because they might be hidden under, you know, palm trees or other trees, and it's just a little bit infuriating when you're getting...
Oh, Presidente, that it would come to this. For how many years have I prayed for you to become less boneheaded?
Yeah, they're not very happy with us. Citizens lose personal experience when visiting ecclesial buildings. Citizens oriented towards the religious faction might set certain buildings on fire after visiting them. All effects last for 1 year. Lovely. Fortunately, we do have a fire station. I'm not... excuse me. I'm not really sure why the blue circle around here is. They will go to anywhere where they can reach via road. I think they reduced the fire risk here. Oh, there we go. A building is already on fire. No, my childhood museum is on fire. Oh, that's cool. The firemen didn't actually use a truck to go if it's that close. That's cool. There we go. Wow, this one did not even get any damage. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, the overlays, I mean, yeah, the overlays and some of the information...
In an official statement from the palace, it has been confirmed that God loves El Presidente, whose faith is rock solid. Holy press releases, Tropico!
Yeah, you get this stuff every now and then. It's pretty fun. Yeah, you do get a lot of information with the almanac and the overlays and such, but still, at the same time, it could give you a little more useful information. Even though, like I said, you really can click on a lot of stuff, you know, like vacant jobs, unemployed citizens. But I just want an overlay that would tell me, oh, look, you've got some, you know, shacks over here that you need to take care of, and so on and so forth. And I definitely want the goals to be a little less linear. Oh, there we go, job happiness. Okay. So yeah, this is not a election promise. This is from the communists. But yeah, it looks a bit like this. So job happiness is 48 out of 55. And let me tell you, it's pretty darn difficult to get it to 55. I would have to increase the budgets on pretty much all of the buildings to, I don't know, maybe the highest. And of course, you know, right now we're paying $97 per month. And that would be 148 to increase it. But of course, people do get higher wages and higher job quality if you do that, and they'll be more than willing to work there then. And just like in the previous Tropicos, there's a lot of micromanagement you can do with the actual building. So for example, if I go to the immigration office, it has a work mode, like most buildings do, even apartments. So you click on that and you say, like, open doors, for example, allows everyone to immigrate, increasing the immigration rate by 50%. Oh, come on. I know, we're gonna lose. Or you can go for skilled workers, but of course I need to research that first, which means that the chance for immigrants with high school and college education increases by 20%. And you can go to Tropical first, which decreases the immigration rate by 80% on base efficiency. And of course, that means that it's a little easier keeping up with the amount of people coming into your country, so you don't have that many homeless and so on. But if you have a lot of money, and a lot of growth, yeah, you know, get more immigrants in, not a problem. Or if we go to the police station, we also have serve and protect, live and left. You know, there's lots of stuff for pretty much every building. Stack them higher or normal occupancy. The stack them higher increases the maximum number of households by 2, and the housing quality is decreased by 8. Broke citizens can afford to live in this building. The rent is 0. So it's pretty much a solution if you have a lot of homeless, broke people around. You place one of these bunk houses and do the stack them higher. Of course, that reduces the housing quality, which is a bigger problem. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. The one thing I kind of miss from Tropico 3 is, well, one, even though the game does look quite pretty from certain angles sometimes, it's so weird. I almost think like I remember Tropico 3 being a little bit more graphically impressive than this. Now, I'm sure that's not true, but that's just how I feel sometimes. It felt like Tropico 3 was a little prettier. And I'm not sure if that's due to the effects they used. I think a lot of the times there was a lot of specular stuff when you moved your camera like this. The roofs would, you know, glitter from the sun, and the roads would bounce sunlight, and it looked very good. And also, I think that in Tropico 3, the buildings were a little bit more detailed. Now, I'm not saying that the buildings in Tropico 6 are low detailed in any stretch of imaginations, but sometimes, for example, if I look at, I don't know, this place. So this cocktail bar is nice, right? It's got little little air conditioners up there. There's a few cracks here. There's this dome up here that looks like a pineapple. It's got little seeds, some flowers. That's really nice. That's what I want, right? But then you look at something like the college, for example. And yes, you've got some flowers and stuff over here, but generally, I mean, it's a little bit boring in a way. Also some of these apartments are a little bit boring, and I know they're supposed to be drab and such, but I would kind of wish a little bit more, I don't know, detail on them. It just feels like there was a little bit more detail in Tropico 3. But even more than that, what I really wish is for when you upgrade buildings. So a lot of the buildings have this little icon over here, upgrades, which means that you've got various upgrades available if there are any for the building. So this one, hospitalization wing, adds 2 visitor slots per employed worker. Now, of course, I cannot afford that because I don't have enough money. But usually in Tropico 3, when you upgraded buildings, almost always without fault, when you did something like this, when you upgraded it, it would actually physically add that hospitalization wing, for example, with a hospital. You would see it visually, and you would visually be able to identify if you came back later, oh yeah, this hospital does have the upgrade already. Or with some factories, for example.
I'm sure the good citizens of Tropico intend to vote for you, Presidente. I myself intend to vote for you many, many times.
Yes, subtly pre-adjust the ballots. Let's actually do something. Let's see. Where is the state loan? Let's do the state loan, which means that
fortunate that
we'll be able to do martial law for 7,500, cancel scheduled elections, and prevents elections while active, decreasing the personal experience of each eligible voter by 5, decreases liberty by 35, increases the chance of citizens becoming rebels by 15%. It decreases all tourist ratings by minus 30%, increases military standing by 30, and decreases standing with all other factions by 15.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of power you get from declaring martial law. Curfews at night, soldiers marching down the streets just for the hell of it. It's jackboot heaven. And if there's a pesky election coming that you might lose, it's the perfect excuse to cancel it. It's not an underhanded ploy, it's national security. If anyone complains that Tropico is no longer free, just show them the magnificent drop in crime statistics.
Let's issue that. There we go. Why are the election... Okay, I'm assuming that's gonna go away. But now we have martial law. Wait, 20... Yeah, there we go. It's gone. No more elections. This is for national security, of course. I love this game so much. Like I said, yes, it has its some minor downsides. The upgrades of the buildings, that would really be nice. Oh yeah, a big one I forgot to mention.
Flying cars have arrived in Tropico. Current flight times are less than a second, but our scientists are working hard on improving that.
Okay. A big one with the overlays that I would like to have is the efficiency of some buildings. And I'm not saying by clicking on this and seeing, oh yeah, it says 95% efficiency. I don't really care about that right now. What I care about is a Teamster's office. You cannot seem, at least I haven't found a way to see how many Teamsters are busy at any given time. Now, Teamsters, if you haven't played Tropico yet, are people that will ferry goods around with these many trucks you see everywhere. So these trucks are the Teamsters. So if you have a fisherman's wharf, for example, when they catch something, they will store fish and shellfish here. And your Teamsters will have to come over here with a truck and take them away and bring them either to the dock where they will be exported, or to, for example, not the creamery, like a cannery factory if you have them. So they will can them, and then they will have to go back to the cannery and get the cans and bring them to the grocery stores. Where's my grocery store? There it is. or they will bring it to the docks again to be exported, and so on and so forth. So the Teamsters are an absolutely critical part of your entire economy, and indeed the country. So I have lots and lots and lots of them. I have one here, I have one here, I have one here, I have another one here, and here. I'm pretty much putting them everywhere. I've got 3 here. But the problem is, I never really know if I have enough. I only know that I not have enough if buildings are suddenly not getting the raw goods they need. However, in this case, this is not actually true, because they're not getting the tobacco, because these plantations here are down to 40% efficiency. Unfortunately, I've never experienced that before, but it seems like they've completely destroyed the soil over here. And that just means now that, well...
It's no good, Prez. The smart money has had enough of your wonky politics. We don't take disappointment lying down.
Wow. He's angry. The broker's angry. Yeah, so that's not really a problem. But, you know, that would be really nice to see. A graph that shows you how many Teamsters you have and how many are busy at any time. So, if, for example, if they're 100% busy all of the time, you need that you see that you definitely require more Teamsters. Similar graphs like that for other things as well. I think that would be nice. The good news is that the developer seems to be actively on this. They've just...
Canal Uno has received word that inflation has skyrocketed thanks to investor greed. El Presidente expresses disappointment in the capitalists for not being team players.
Fortunately, the developer seems to be on the ball. They've released the second patch today, when I'm recording this. So that's already the second patch in just a couple of weeks from being released, I believe. So that's nice. That's very nice. And they're saying they're not quite ready to rebalance the game because it's so fresh yet. They want to wait a little bit more, which is fine, you know. So yeah, I mean, generally, I could just keep going and going about this game. I've played it for, like I said, like 20 hours or so, and I still haven't found, like, maybe a third of the buildings yet. I haven't researched or constructed, and it's just... The music is lovely if you like sort of Cuban music. It's lovely, it's fitting. I love the feel of Tropico. I love the tongue-in-cheek jokes. Yes, there are a few minuses here and there, but hopefully they'll improve that. And like I said, there's a lot of different campaigns available. So if you go to new game, there's also quite an extensive tutorial, which is very nice. So it teaches you how to play the game properly, but also allows you to you can do heists, by the way, and steal world wonders. Teaches you how to play the game, but doesn't reveal everything. So it leaves you on your toes to what's coming next. And of course, you've got all these campaign missions available, and if that's not enough, you've got all these sandbox islands available as well, and you can set everything yourself, which is awesome. I love it. You can also have a space program, by the way, which I have never had yet, but I'm looking forward to. So, all in all, I love the Tropico series, or should I say, I love Tropico 3, and I love this game. It really hasn't let me down. It's fun, it's awesome. I love it. Go and play it if you like city builders, and if you like this tongue-in-cheek dictator stuff, where you can have your own tropical country with how you want to run it. Are you gonna be a horrible dictator, a benevolent one, something in between? You know, it's awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This is MetalCanyon. Check out my Patreon. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And I'll see you next time. El Presidente salutes you.